So grateful to be here today. I am so excited to be doing this ceremony. And I know that today we have one person here with me, and I know that some of you all will be joining across time and space. And so I just want to create a container here where we all will be able to join at whatever time makes sense for us, knowing that we have been going through a lot of shifts. There's a lot of energy moving around in our world, and I feel like crystal grids are a powerful tool for us to tap into and connect with and to share our intentions. And I feel like this is a really powerful moment for us to be doing this kind of magic together today. And I think one of the things that we'll be discussing today is the way that crystal grids actually help us connect across time and space. And I really am feeling the turning of the tides of the seasons, and also of the ways in which many of us are being called into transformations. T and I were just talking earlier about how transformations are really impacting a lot of folks that we know, including ourselves. And I yeah, I want to invite us to all, be gentle with ourselves, to be gentle with the way that we show up, and knowing that however way we show up is the way it's meant to be. And so I really want to invite us to take care of ourselves as we move through this crystal grade communion. And so I'm just going to share a little bit of how I'm seeing our time unfolding today. I'm going to do like a mini crystal grid intro. I'm going to be sharing about crystal grids and how I like to work with them. I'm going to be talking a little bit about a dream that I had last month that really inspired this ceremony. And I'm also going to be talking about ley lines and fractal magic. And then we'll be doing an opening circle. And that's while I'll be inviting folks to share their intentions, and we'll be sharing them here in the Zoom, but also we'll be sharing them again across time and space. You can add a comment and include yourself into the circle that we're creating here together. And then we'll be doing a guided meditation to connect with the energies of this crystal grid that we're creating. And then we'll be spending a little bit of time making some art in whatever way that makes sense for us. And then we'll share, and we'll do a closing together. And yeah, so before I start, I just would like to check in with you, T, if there's anything you'd like to share, any any questions you might have, how this sounds for you.
This all sounds great to me. I don't think I have any questions right now.
Wonderful, great. Well, thank you so much. So we'll start with talking about crystal grids and how they're used. They're tools that we can use to access our intuition, connect with sacred structures within and without. Structures is something that I feel is really big with crystal grids, because we're working with different structures that are both inside and out. And we can use them to set intentions, to communicate across time and space, and to share our prayers and our hopes with the universe. And I am definitely really connected to crystals a lot through my own Indigenous ancestry. I have been called to connect with crystals a lot. Also, as a queer and trans person, I feel like a lot of my queer and trans friends have really shown me the way of the crystals. One of the first people that ever introduced me to crystal magic was a queer person. And so I definitely feel like those different cultures have come together to really connect me with the magic of crystals, and they're definitely used in ceremony and in sacred practices. Here we have one that was created in Birikuta, which is a sacred land of my people, the Virarika. And in the middle, there are some sacred crystals as well as eyes of God that have been left as offerings. And they're used a lot in ceremony, in ritual work, in calling the directions and calling in the ancestors. And so one big thing with most grids is that they usually have a grounding crystal that's meant to bring together all of the crystals. Usually it's a quartz crystal, but it doesn't have to be. Quartz are really great at being charged with intentions, and they also are really multidimensional and help us connect across dimensions. And so they're kind of the perfect stone to have in the center. But again, depending on your intention, depending on how you're wanting to bring together your crystal grid, you might want to connect with other energies or other crystals that you would like to have in the center. And so I wanted to share a little bit about the dream that I had last month. I'm showing here an image of the group called Witch, that is an activist and also art group that has done different rituals at different large institutions in public spaces. And I had an image of witches coming together from all across the world and bringing crystals together to communicate, to share messages, and to open up also ley lines and portals. And we're going to talk about ley lines in a second. And in this dream, I saw the witches that were all coming together using art practice, using activism, using their bodies, using writing as a way to share the messages that were coming together through these crystals. And so I, really felt inspired to offer this as an opportunity for us to come together, for us to connect with each other, connect with crystals, and to also use some art making to really communicate some visions that we're all holding. So I, love that so many witches are using the magic of Zoom to really create these grids, to really connect us. And we are using the magic of Zoom. We're also going to be using YouTube as a public space where we're going to be inviting people to share. I know, as I was sharing with T earlier, a little over 20 people signed up to be a part of this ritual. So I'm imagining some folks are wanting to connect with this space asynchronously. And so we're also opening up this circle across time and space to allow people to connect with us in this Zoom YouTube grid using the internet to connect us all. And so I wanted just to share that we're going to be doing a meditation together. We're going to be tapping into the energies of this crystal grid that we're creating here together today. I'd love to invite folks to notice any messages that come through as visions, as thoughts, as emotions or sensations. And just know that the messages will also come through as we're making art as well. And so kind of really wanting to emphasize that it can be both in that moment of meditation, and also many times the messages come forward after, as we're making, as we're creating. And so just want to invite you to be aware of that, to notice if you start to receive as you're drawing, as you're dancing, as you're writing. And so one of the things that I mentioned earlier was structure, and I feel like crystals have within them really sacred structures that uh, are a part of the energies that they emit and the energies that they send out into the world. A lot of the qualities, the metaphysical, the healing, the spiritual qualities that we connect with crystals are connected to the grids that they have within them, the structures that they have inside of them. And so, in a similar way, I feel like crystal grids almost replicate that internal structure. We create an outer structure using these crystals, and that structure is also what creates the magic, the healing, the intention setting of these crystals. So, we have another person joining us. Just want to give them a second to join before I continue. Hi, Rowan.
Hey,
So good to see you. Hi.
yeah, I just found the new link.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you found it. And
Yeah.
yeah, welcome. I just started talking. It's T, myself, and you. The three of us are
Okay.
here. I was sharing with T that we have like a little over 20 folks that registered, so we might get some more folks joining us as we continue. I know I just
Okay.
sent out that link this morning. But all
Yeah.
but you haven't mixed very much, just so you know. We are just kind of
Okay.
got started. And but welcome. So happy that you're here.
Yeah. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So as I was saying, I was talking about the way that crystals have structures within them, and that these structures kind of are a part of what emanates from them, a part of how we get the healing, the metaphysical properties. And in a similar way, I feel like crystal grids really replicate some of these structures. And they also connect to a larger thing that we have on our planet that is known as ley lines. And so ley lines are subtle energy currents that run across our planet. They connect us. They also help us share messages, receive visions, and places where they intersect are really powerful energy centers. And so a lot of cultures have actually created sites of worship, of ceremony there. Other names that ley lines have been given by other cultures are dragon lines, dream lines, spirit lines, or even energy centers. And some people also see them as the planet's chakra system. And so at different points of the chakra system, you have different sites that are really special for different communities. For example, in California, we have Mount Shasta as one of those intersecting lines. And Mount Shasta is actually, people think of it as the crown chakra of the planet. And so a crystal grid is like a small representative of these kind of intersecting ley lines. And with us bringing our crystals together here today and also asynchronously, we are creating a ley line of charging space together that we're going to be using to connect with and to share messages. And so I just wanted to show an image here of what they look like. And this isn't, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but this is just to kind of give you an example of these energy lines that move through the planet. And again, you can see there's some places where they come together. And I'll show you here different sites that are connected to these intersecting ley line spaces across the world. We have the pyramids, we have Machu Picchu, and also Angkor Wat and Stonehenge. These are all places, again, that are used in worship and ceremony, and also to receive information, to connect across time and space. And that's a big part of the magic of these ley lines. And I feel like this, I wanted to really also talk about the fractal and holographic universe. And I have some art here by Alicia Brodovics. And it really shows the ways that our bodies can also be seen in nature and vice versa, that there is a way that things are connected through the different shapes and structures. And so I'll just show you a couple of these really beautiful images that show the body and also natural landscape. And so I wanted to show those just because I really feel like, you know, in the dream that I had that inspired this ceremony, I saw people coming together across the world. And I feel like that is something that can be created with something really small. We can actually access the whole world with something really small. And the fractal magic of our planet really allows us to kind of use any entry point to connect and tap into the larger structures. And this is something that a lot of wisdom traditions have taught, a lot of indigenous communities have taught, that there are many ways to access the larger, the more encompassing magic of the world. And this is a sacred tool that is used in ceremony by my indigenous ancestors, the Vidarica. And I just want to show you a couple of these. And one of the reasons I want to share these is because they've inspired the crystal grid that we're going to be using together today. And this is really the one that inspired me getting the grid that I have that we're going to be working with. These are also known as Nyerika. They are sacred maps. These maps show what the world looks like, the sacred directions. And some of these maps, instead of having sacred directions, they have spirals to show the directions. And I really resonate with that. I really wanted to bring a spiral to be the map, quote unquote, that we're using to create this grid together here across time and space. And so I actually have it here with me. I'll show in the screen. Here's the grid that I have. And we're going to be working with this together to create the crystal grid. So I just want to let you all know that we're going to be starting that in a second. But before we start that, I just would love to invite you all to take a moment here. We're going to maybe just take a couple of minutes to take a moment to set an intention, before we get started. And so if you want to maybe take a few breaths. And just take a moment to really just tune into yourself. You can, if you feel comfortable, closing your eyes. Again, knowing that the astrology of this moment is really intense. We have just moved through the equinox. We're also seeing a lot of changes in planetary systems. There's a lot happening in our world. So taking a moment here to just breathe into everything that's present with us. And I'd like to invite you to move your attention towards your heart space. Letting yourself feel into the energy of the heart. Feeling any emotions, any sensations that are present here. And I'm going to ask you a question here. And I'd like to invite you to notice any responses that you receive to this question. What is your intention today? And the second question is there anything your heart is desiring in this moment? Again, just noticing anything that emerges. And then the third question I wanted to ask is there something that you want to set an intention for the whole planet, for the whole earth? So I want to invite us to return to our breath and take a few deep breaths together here. And I want to slowly invite you to return back here to this space and open your eyes or move around whenever you're ready. And I'm going to give us here about 3 to 5 minutes to write down any intentions you want to share for today's crystal grid. If you're able to, try to keep it at about 1 to 3 sentences, but of course, feel free to go beyond that if you need to. So I'll let you all know when we have about a minute left. All right, so we'll do 1 more minute here. Let me know if you need a little bit more time. Okay, see if you can just take a couple more moments to finish up any writing or drawing that you've been doing. So in order for us to open up this space together, I'd love for us to go around and to share. And I have here written down things that I'm inviting folks to share. Again, feel free to kind of share what makes sense for you, knowing that all of this is optional. So if you can share your name, your pronouns, your location, any crystals that you're bringing into this grid today, any art practice or practices that you're going to be connecting with today, and any of the intentions that you'd like to share. So I'm going to start and I will open up by saying my name is Edgar Fabian Frias. I use they, them pronouns. I am currently in Huichin, also known as Berkeley, California. And I am bringing a couple of crystals today that I want to share with you all. The first one is that for the center of the crystal grid that we're going to be working with today, I'm actually going to be having this beautiful quartz like family that is going to be in the center. That's going to be bringing everything together, and I'm placing it here into the center of the grid. And this is what I'm going to be using to bring together everyone else's crystal into this space. So you could imagine that as you're kind of sharing your crystals, that we're placing them here into this grid. And so I'm also wearing double pointed quartz on my body because I'm also seeing my body as a tuning fork or as a radio tower to transmit this energy. So I have a double quartz crystal. I also am wearing a moldavite, which is a tektite that was created when a meteor hit the earth. And this has really powerful energy of transformation, which I know is like an energy in the air at this moment. I also have obsidian and copper that I'm using for protection and to call in the ancestors. I have some rose quartz and some labradorite to bring in that love magic, to bring in some of the powerful physicalizing energies of labradorite to kind of bring some of our visions into the physical dimension. And I'm going to be drawing today. I'm going to be using this notepad, this drawing pad that I have here to do some drawings as a way to connect with this energy. And I'll read some of the intentions that I wrote down. I want peace in our hearts. I want our nervous systems to get what they need to heal and repair. I want the earth to find balance, to continue creating and sustaining life. Those are my intentions that I'm sharing for this grid that we're creating today. And I'd love to invite in either T or Rowan, whoever wants to go first to share.
I can go. Did
Okay.
we both talk at once?
It doesn't matter to me. You are welcome to go, Rowan.
Thank you, T. First of all, it's nice to meet you. Oh, I guess we're doing video now. I guess I'll turn that on. Hello, everyone. Hi.
Oh, I love your outfit.
Oh, thank you so much. So first of all, it's like super nice meeting you both. This is awesome. My name is Rowan. I use she, her pronouns. And I'm located out of Michigan, and I am bringing in, I've got actually a collection for us. I've got this malachite sphere here with this obsidian sort of precariously perched on top of it.
Wow.
I have a lapis point, which I'm using as a pendulum. And then I daily wear some Amazonite and rose quartz beads. And I also rock some more lapis and some hematite. And then if there's space for it, I brought a crystal singing bowl.
Beautiful.
And artistically, I like to write, dance, sing. With the crystal bowl, I like to do a lot of toning. I just do vowel sounds, but I get a lot out of it. And were there any other questions? Did I
Yeah.
cover it?
Did you write down any intentions or have any
Yes.
intentions that you want to
Thank
share?
you. So I was really surprised by what came to me for what is your intention today, because consciously I came in with the intention to have enough energy to clean the house after this. But what came to me is to connect. And then when you said, is there anything your heart desires in this moment? I got this very profound, just response of peace. And I was very surprised by that. So apparently my heart's a little worn out and is looking for some peace today. And then my intention for the whole planet was just to love.
Thank you so much for sharing all that, Rowan. And of course, there is so much room in this space for your crystal bowl. And definitely feel free while we're making art together in a little bit to make some sounds, or if you want to share some sounds at the end that come through, more than welcome. So grateful to have you in this space and for you to share such beautiful intentions. And I love that we both also brought in the word peace. I feel like it's beautiful that we both are feeling that energy and wanting to offer that to ourselves in the world. So really appreciate you sharing that, Rowan, and so happy to have you here and to meet you also in this way. What a gift. Yeah, so I'd love to invite you in, T, if you want to share yours.
Sure. Hi, I'm T. I use they, them pronouns. I live in Bulbancha, which means place of many tongues. It's also known as New Orleans. I have the crystals I have today are this labradorite, which is an extremely beautiful an extremely beautiful gem that I found once when I was on a healing journey in North Carolina. And this red carnelian, and
Beautiful.
this rose quartz, and this stone that I am not sure exactly what it is. I think it might be serpentine. It's round and smooth and polished, and it's hard to tell. But I bought it at a like a little botanica, and I was drawn to it, but I forgot to check what it was. So, but I brought it with me. And I really I don't know if you guys can see the way that these stones look together, but they're so differently, these crystals are so differently structured. And it's so interesting to me because I was looking at the chart and I was like, oh, they look really differently structured on the outside, but I actually wonder what is the internal structure, like how are they resonating with each other?
Right.
So I'm planning to write today. Hopefully I have some words in me. And the intentions that I wrote were, I'm going to start from sort of like biggest to smallest. So on a planetary level, I wrote, let us move towards what is alive, which is a phrase that I take from nonviolent communication, where they say, speak to what is alive. And I was just thinking, I hope that we can all move towards what is alive in this world and in each other. And I wrote, let me move towards connecting with those who are willing, ready, and able to work for collective alignment. And let my works be of service to collective alignment and growth. So I guess those are my intentions.
Wow. Wow. Really powerful intentions, T. Yeah, could really feel them and really grateful for you sharing them, and really excited that you're going to be using words as a medium to connect with the grid that we're all creating here today. And Yeah, now that we've opened up this space, that we've shared our intentions, I'd love to invite us into a meditative moment to connect with the energy of this grid. And feel free, if it makes sense for you, to connect with your crystals, to hold them, or to just be in their presence while we do this short meditation. And I'm going to be just inviting folks who are joining us asynchronously to leave your own intentions, share your own crystals and your pronouns and name and everything in the comments later on. And also to join us here for this meditative moment to see what comes forward for all of us as we connect with this crystal grid that we're making. So T and Rowan, I just want you to imagine and envision that there are going to be other folks joining us who are also bringing in their crystals here into their space. So if you want to imagine them placing their crystals here into our circle that we're making. And if you want to get comfy and either focus your eyes somewhere or close them if that feels right. So I want to invite us to take a few breaths together, and I'll count to 3 and invite you to breathe with me at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'll count to 3 again and invite you to take another breath with me. 1, 2, 3. We'll do a third breath together at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. So taking a moment here to imagine that we are becoming a part of this beautiful grid that we're all creating here together today. We can imagine ourselves standing in the center of the grid. Behind us is this tower of quartz, and we're surrounded by some beautiful crystals, lapis, carnelian, rose quartz, labradorite, moldavite, crystals that we can't name, crystals that we are imagining. They're all falling into the perfect place on the grid. Creating a sacred structure, one that is tapping into the ley lines, the spirit lines of the planet. And I want to invite you here in this space as we are tapping into this grid to notice any sensations, any emotions, thoughts, or visions that come forward here in this space. knowing that we are using our own body's ability to tap into frequencies, to vibrate alongside the structures within and without. What is this vibration communicating? How does it want to flow through you? You might notice impulses you might have to move, to sing, to share words, to draw, to make videos, whatever form this vibration wants to take shape. We're inviting it in. We're inviting in peace, protection, care, love, moving towards what is alive in this moment. Again, becoming aware of any channels that have been opened, of any impulses that we can feel stirring within us. I'm going to count to 3 one last time. And as a way for us to close this meditative moment, I want us to take a deep breath together. And as we inhale, I want us to imagine that we are inhaling love and life energy. And as we exhale, I want us to imagine that we are returning that love and that life energy back into the grid. 1, 2, 3. I want us to gently come back to this space. We can open our eyes or move around whenever we feel ready. So we're going to spend a few moments now making art together. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And this is really our playtime. We get to use it in whatever way makes sense for us. I'm going to give us about 10 minutes here to kind of just really be open to whatever wants to come through. Feel free to get up, move around, do whatever makes sense for you. I'll give us about a 1 minute kind of notice when we're going to start to come back together. But again, this is your time. Let yourself move and be in whatever way makes sense for you. Peace and life and love. Love for the whole planet. Love for the animals and the plants and the minerals.
Love, love, love. Love, love, love.
Love for the spirits that we cannot see. Love for the queer and trans ancestors.
Hail to the Urgi ancestors. Vestuhaya. Hail to our enlightened ancestors. Vestuhaya. to love, 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 to love.
So I just want to let us know we have a couple more minutes here for us to create, to make art. I want to welcome you, Julie, into this space with us. We are making, we are creating, and we will have a couple more minutes here in this space. So I'll give us 2 more minutes here just to let ourselves have a little bit more time to create, tapping into the energy of the crystal grid that we're all a part of here in this space. All right, taking 1 more minute, letting ourselves finish up anything that we started working on, knowing that we'll have some more time to keep making, if that makes sense after. All right, if people want to just take a few moments to start to close up, start to come back. Getting yourself to a good place where you feel like you could stop. So welcome back. I'm so glad that Julie has joined us. Welcome. I'm so happy that you could be here with us too. Welcome to this space. We have all just spent a moment channeling, allowing messages to move through us. And I'd love to have us start to kind of get to a closing here by sharing any messages, any words, any images, any sounds that you'd like to share with us as a way for us to kind of start to close this beautiful circle that we have, knowing that this is also going to exist on the internet and it will be available for folks to connect with across time and space. So I definitely want you to know that the magic that we're all weaving together today is going to continue to live beyond this precious moment that we're all having together. So, would anyone like to start to share?
I will share.
Thank you, T.
I made a poem. I don't usually write on this device, so we'll see how I do reading it. To align with what is alive, you must let go. Yeah, you say that, but no, you really have to let go. You say what you really have to do is let go. What you mean is love, 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 love. What you mean is, what I mean is, what we mean is we. We have to let go to align. We have to let go to align with what is alive. Okay, fine. But what is alive? Don't worry about it, you say. You will know life. It breathes and you can feel it in the wind rustling through pages and leaves and lives and so many colors of hair. But how will I know? Will I know? You will know, I say. You will know what is alive by what breathes in you. You will know by what is alive in you. You will know alive, you say. You will know alive by what you love.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, T. Wow. I'm feeling a lot of emotions hearing that. That is so profound.
Thank you.
Ah, wow. Yeah, definitely feeling a lot of hope, a lot of sadness, a lot of grief in that poem. Also, a lot of peace, too. Yeah. Definitely, if anyone else has any words they want to share, any reflections, I'm just blown away by the fact that you were able to create that in such a short amount of time.
Thank you. I don't feel like I created it. I feel like we created it.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Oh, that's literally perfect.
It is so perfect.
Yeah. I thought your intention was so beautiful of moving towards what's alive, the world moving towards what's alive, as we in the Northern Hemisphere are moving towards fall.
Right.
And so when you said, in order to align with what's alive, you have to let go, what you really mean is, and I was like, they're going to say to die, right? To let go, to move towards what's alive is to die. It's like the new life bursting from the husk of the old dead seed. And I just thought, Wow. And you didn't say to die, you said to love. And I was like, transformative, all that Labradorite energy, Moldavite energy everybody brought, like a
Yeah.
butterfly, right? Because, butterflies, when they go into their cocoon, into their chrysalis, the caterpillar like completely disintegrates, right? And so you never know what's cocoon. You never know when you're just going to burst out and be something completely new. And I thought, wow, there it is.
Wow, that's really it feels really beautiful that you said that, because actually what I was going to say was that you do have to die. Actually, that's what I was going to say, and I was trying to say it, and the words were coming, and then one of you was chanting, and one of you was chanting love, and I was like, and like your words were interrupting my flow in a way that I was like, oh, I'm trying to enforce my own answer. I came in with my own idea of like what this means, but like this other answer is coming in, and I have to let it be present in this work.
That's amazing.
So I did not write that. Y'all wrote that.
Wow, getting chills just hearing this, and yeah, loving that connection between love and death and transformation. And saw that Julie also wrote the word trust in the chat. And yes, yeah, trusting in that process. And I can hear our beloved ancestor Octavia Butler's words of Goddess, God being change, and change being that divine gift that we have, and we are in that moment of transformation. That's something, when we first started this, I remember T mentioned that so many folks that in your life, and I know myself too, a lot of people are moving through intense transformations in this moment. We're moving towards aliveness, towards love, and also that death is a part of that too. That death is such a intricate, interconnected part of that as well. And really hearing that in the butterfly magic that you just shared, Rowan, as well. And I'd love to invite you in, Rowan, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit of what came
Sure.
through for you, or anything you want to share from your
Absolutely.
own gifts.
Um, while we're on the butterfly topic, I wanted to share that as soon as we were done with the meditation and you mentioned we could move, I got up immediately because my back, like my in between my shoulder blades, was just aching. And I tried stretching and nothing worked, and nothing worked, and nothing worked until right at the end when we were about to rejoin as a group. I just, was working with my crystal and something went and I'm back, and it feels so good. But it really makes me like, to me, that poem was a cocoon. That's like the best way I have of sharing how that poem made me feel.
Yeah.
And so this back aching was like when the cocoon busts open and the wings, I see like a monarch butterfly bursting forth. And that leads me into the words that came to me at the end, because I was doing like a lot of toning during. I wasn't having a lot of word downloads. But this was the poem that I came up with. All is love and all is peace. Ring around the Christmas wreath. All's began and all's begun. The world is one. The world is one. All is love and all is peace. Ring around the Christmas wreath. All's began and all's begun. The world is one. The world is one.
That was so joyful and radiant.
That's my mood right now. Like with y'all. This is so good.
It's
love
so infectious. Thank you for it.
Yeah.
I know. I almost saw us like kind of running around like a fire pit, or some sort of energy, as we were all chanting that together.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much also for your beautiful toning, and for sharing your voice and your sounds, your crystal bowl with us. Definitely adding such beautiful magic to this space. Just really grateful for you
Yeah.
sharing,
Yeah.
and
It
for
brought my,
bringing in that.
but it
Sorry?
said it at the beginning. So my heart said it needed peace, and now it's very full.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling very similar and just so grateful for us to be able to come together in this way. And want to share mine too. I don't know, Julie, if you have something you want to share, definitely want to invite you in. Also, feel free to put it in the chat or if you want to unmute yourself, but I can share mine first if that feels okay. I just drew this beautiful constellation. I love this kind of also thinking of the cocoon bursting open and there being all these energy bubbles, all this magic just kind of bursting through. And I was like really receiving this vision of our ancestors and being really expansive when I think of ancestors, both our kind of lineage ancestors and also our queer and trans ancestors, our plant and animal ancestors, just being really happy by seeing us all coming together and connecting with the subtle energy bodies of our body and also the bodies of the on the planet, and just really feeling into this like I almost see this as like a bubble bath in a way. That's kind of one of the energies I was getting. It was like bubble bath magic and feeling kind of like a swirling, and I kept wanting to move around. And yeah, just also feeling that peace in my heart too, and just feeling so grounded and just so grateful, like feeling so much gratitude for what's come forward in our beautiful, intimate ceremony that we've had here today. So, yeah, I would love to hear if there's any thoughts that come forward, just seeing this image or hearing some of my words. Definitely want to invite you all in, just really appreciating all the intuitive messages that we're all sharing here.
I just love that. It looks like an image of like primordial life, like bursting forth. You know what I mean? Like when it's like just starting to organize itself, and it is not defined what it is yet. It is just the atoms and particles and swirling and coming into life, but not one thing yet.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, so much possibility in that.
It's like a portal. It's like sucking me in as I look at it. Is there a did you draw a spiral?
Yeah, there is a spiral in the center.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like pulling you. It's kind of like going warp speed in Star Wars.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah. And I love that you're feeling it pulling in because I was also feeling it like pushing out too. And I like love that it can be like an undulating, like in and
Mhm.
out. And just really feeling that, yeah, that circle. I love that you did that. Like I feel like makes me think a lot about love and life and death, like just kind of feeling that spiral magic that is in that. And I think one thing that I'm kind of hearing as like a message around this is just, a way that like I feel like I was taught about time as not being a spiral. And this really makes me feel that spiral energy so much of time being this beautiful spiral that weaves us all together. And is like a weaving that is happening here. And yeah, I would love to invite you in, Julie, if you want to share any messages that you've received, any downloads, and also if you want to share what crystals you have with you, if you have any that you want to share, definitely want to invite you in.
Okay. Hi guys. I'm sorry I meant to be here from the beginning, but I had a conflict, so actually was meeting with my therapist and I couldn't stop crying today, which was interesting. And kind of some of the topics that you talked about in your poem, T, was like so apropos, just kind of what I was just processing. So that's very interesting. Let's see. I want to turn my camera around if I could figure out how to do that. Shoot.
Are you on a phone?
I wanted to show you guys some of my little altar space. Can you see it?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
So this is not just from today, but like I have several altar spaces in my home, and I'm just always kind of, can y'all see?
Yeah.
just always kind of putting together collections of things. This is not in its most regular form right now, but yeah, I've been collecting crystals and when I go places, and so today I didn't really get like fully into this as I would want to, but if we're meeting again, then I can try to make more time for it. Yeah, I'm an artist also. I paint, and I've been working on a lot of I'm kind of in a very dreamy space a lot with my work. So I would love to share and connect that with you. But today I didn't have time, but yeah, the thing I'm thinking about a lot is like the past, and like how do we maintain this sense of who we are based on like the experiences that we've had that we can remember, versus letting go and just living like, is it enough to just live now and like let the past kind of flow away? And but I happen to be a person who's very connected to the stories and the people, many of whom are gone. So it's a pull that I'm experiencing between like just being in the now and being accepting that like the now includes a lot of forgetting, a lot of remembering, but a lot of forgetting all the time. And yeah, just that sense of like, do it lean into just the now, or try to hold on to this whole set of experiences that like really kind of make who we are and what we've experienced. So that's kind of what I'm going through.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing this, Julie. Just
Sure.
so beautiful to hear your words and to see your altar spaces and to also have this really profound question. I think it's a really important question and one that I feel like,
I have another altar I'd like to show you guys. It's upstairs, so
yeah,
walk with me. And I went to a really beautiful sound bath a couple nights ago, and I'm like, it was definitely like the message was I need to do a lot more somatic, and especially if I can get into some more sound healing. So if y'all know of any things like that are happening, I'm in North Oakland, so Bay Area person. This is another little area here, and these are a couple of my like little spirit people. Let's see, can you see it?
yeah,
Can you see them?
yeah.
I have these figures that have been like this guy. His name is Sean, and he's been going a lot of places with me. This guy he's like the bear, but he's like Mr. Bling, you know? So he always needs he brings a lot of abundance. He brings a lot of like travel, go for it, be a nomad. So things are a little messy. Here's another beautiful crystal that,
Oh my gosh, I have one of those crystals in my house
yeah,
too. Yeah, I love
it's
those.
like, it's got shapes in it.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I hope we can connect again when you're having another moment like this, Edgar.
Definitely, yes. And I wanted to say too that yeah, I'm going to be putting this video, this experience on YouTube. If you want to go back and reconnect, you can connect with the whole ritual that we did today. And
Okay.
also, I would love to invite you all, if you want to share any of your art. I created the hashtag Crystal Grid Communion. If people want to share their art, we can all be connected with that hashtag. And I shared at the beginning that there are a little over 20 people who registered. So I'm imagining other people will be participating asynchronously too. And then want to invite those people to also share their art, to share their messages. But I definitely will be having further like rituals synchronously too. And I want to invite you all as well. And if you're on my newsletter or following me on social media, I'll definitely be posting about it too.
Already there.
Yeah, thank you. I want to invite in Rowan or T, if you have anything you want to share about what Julie just shared too. Definitely want to invite you in before we close.
I feel really struck by the question about whether the past flows away. And I wonder if anything flows in a line. I wonder if anything moves in a line the way that we think that it does, or the way that maybe we hope that it should. And I don't know, it seems like maybe it moves also in a spiral. But I don't have any answers. But I feel very struck by the question. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a lot of experience crying in therapists' offices. You know, that feeling like you can't stop crying all day is such a hard energy to carry. And I feel like this crystal grid that we made, which has all these energies of love and transformation, is such a good one for just dissipating that kind of hard energy. And so I just want to put out this intention to anyone who's watching this video now or in the future, to just know that it's going to be okay, and that this is a place to let that energy go, to let go, to love, to let go, to surrender to love, to surrender that burden to love, and just let it be carried through the grid and dissipated and transformed into a much lighter vibration. And hopefully we can all carry that in our hearts moving forward from this video and this experience and this meeting today.
Yeah, I think it is. Thank you for saying that. I think it is very much like a conflict between how the mind operates and how the heart operates, or like what the heart knows versus what the mind knows, right? And like I definitely come out of an upbringing where the mind was held above all other parts. And you know, so it's very hard to let go, you know, to tell the mind that it's okay, it can let go, you know.
It is,
Um
it is hard, but this is a place of heart knowing. This is a place of heart knowing. So you've come to the right place.
I know that, and I know that the heart, you know, can be more stable, much more stabilizing than the mind. So but yeah, it's definitely like two systems that are like so.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, the sound bath, like it just made me totally realize that like where I need to work right now is in my heart and my throat, and those are the two areas where I can like see I see like a lot of blocks have been removed, but there's still a lot of ways to go. So that's really what I'm looking for, and like literally looking, you know, to find those spaces to do that. And
It's amazing.
I have done a lot online, but I'm hoping to find some like IRL spaces.
Yeah. It's amazing you say that, actually. This is toned to the heart chakra.
Wow. Yeah, I want to definitely invite you all
Hold
to
on
kind of
just one sec. I'll be right back.
yeah. I want to invite folks to tune in to the beautiful sounds that were made in this video, to come back to it. I love what you just shared, Rowan. I think this video is one of those spaces that people can return to, can connect with if you want to drop into the heart. And I really want to invite you, Julie, to listen to the beautiful sounds that we made. I know that you kind of stepped in right when we were like coming towards a close, but I would love for you to come in to that space that we had together and maybe share some of your sounds with us, you know, in the video, as you're maybe getting ready to have some more in-person experiences too. But I just want to say thank you to all of you. This has been such a gift. I'm just so grateful to connect with you all in this way, and for the messages that have come forward. They are so profound, and I cannot wait to share these with our communities. I will be posting this on my YouTube channel, and I will be sending an email with information. And also, as I said, if you all want to use that hashtag Crystal Grid Communion, it could be a wonderful way for us to find each other across the internet. We can all start to connect using this hashtag. So much love to all of you, and I look forward to connecting with you all very soon.
Thank you so much. It
Thank
was
you
such a
for your
pleasure.
idea to do this.
Thank you. Yeah, so
And we'll
glad.
see you, hopefully see you in real life one of these days.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you. Take
Beautiful.
care.
Bye.
Bye.